Yeah, really exciting day, to be honest with you. Had the opportunity to have signing day this morning and then be out on the field with our team for just the second time in the last couple of weeks. So it's been a great day all around, and really proud of the effort that our coaches put in to the signing class. Proud of the effort of our support staff. Obviously, faced with a lot of challenges, and especially with our new coaches and the relationships that they built, the relationships that our support staff built in order for us to sign a class like this is I just want to commend everybody involved on our side, and also commend the players. What a great group of young men that we've signed. We signed for the most part, and in fact, all of the guys that we signed, we feel like are our kind of guys. To steal a phrase from Coach Peterson at Washington, these are all guys that fit our profile of not just the tangible makeup of height, weight, 40 time, vertical jump, all that good stuff, but also who are they? What's their character? Are they team captain? Are they from a winning program? All of the above, and these guys all really check the box. And I want to say a few words about each one of them. Jaden Alexis, I'll go in alphabetical order. Jaden's a guy, tremendous family background. His father, Rich, played in the National Football League, and he is an early enrollee. I'll make sure that I designate those. Jaden's a class president at his school. And, interesting tidbit on him, one of the things that really kept drawing me to him was just his work ethic. And he would tell me about these training sessions that he would have throughout the COVID lockdown and all that. And he actually had shoulder pads and helmets on. So whenever he goes and does his running drills, he's got shoulder pads and helmet, and just really, really cool to see that kind of work ethic. Maurice Blackwell, obviously you guys know, comes from a great program, Coach Wager's Arlington Martin program there, has been called by Coach Wager one of the best players that he has ever coached. And so just really proud of him and his family. Unbelievable support system. Could probably, except for down lineman, probably play every position on the field. And fantastic addition to our culture. Jonathan Brooks, we believe and have believed for a long time that he belongs in the elite class and tier of running backs in this class of 2021. I mean, you look at a guy and his numbers, and I have them written down. I think, over 3,000 yards rushing and 60 touchdowns in his senior season. I think just a couple weeks ago in the playoffs, over 500 yards rushing. And probably the most important statistic, Hallettsville was 3-7 his sophomore year, and Jonathan's got him playing in the state championship game for the first time in school history. So I know that's really exciting. Casey Kane, wide receiver from Warren Easton High School in Louisiana. Great natural body control, really, really superb hands, goes up and attacks the football. Doesn't talk a whole lot. Casey's kind of a man of few words, but certainly lets his play do the talking. And we are extremely excited about his potential in the red zone as a big target down there. J.D. Coffey, safety out of Kennedale. He is also an early enrollee, had a phenomenal senior year. Excited about this guy's, I don't know how to call it, his hitting potential. I mean, he is every week when you watch his film, it's highlight worthy hits. And I know he's going to be roaming the secondary for a while here at DKR, imposing his will on some of those receivers coming across the middle. Hayden Connor, also an early enrollee. Hayden has been committed to us for a long time. I believe is the longest tenured commit that we have. I was joking with him. It feels like we've been recruiting him since he was in kindergarten. I think he told me a funny story about him being, I don't think he's weighed under 200 pounds since his 5th grade year or something like that. But started off playing tight end in high school, and So you can tell the natural athletic ability is there. Obviously grew in to an offensive tackle. Really excited about his versatility. And as I said, great family, great program, and is our longest tenured commit as well. Terence Tk Cooks, also an early enrollee. Extremely excited about his athletic ability. Could play either spur or will for us in our package, we believe. Again, another great athletic pedigree in his family. His dad, Terence, played in the National Football League as well. He won a state championship in 2019, and we were one of his first offers and have been recruiting him for close to 2 years now. Juan Davis, another early enrollee, we believe is one of the best players in the country at his position. Extremely versatile. Obviously played his senior year at quarterback a bunch for his team, but played wide receiver, running back, quarterback, defensive end, linebacker, DB. I mean, you name it. Juan was all over the field, big athlete, great movement skills, can go up and get it. And we're really excited about, seeing what Coach McKnight and our strength and conditioning staff, can do with that frame and athletic ability. Derek Harris from New Caney High School. Again, another early enrollee. Unfortunately, Derek missed his senior year due to injury, but is still someone that we are extremely, extremely excited about. Had a great sophomore and junior year, great length and athleticism off the edge. The interesting tidbit that some of you may or may not know, DJ is actually a competitive swimmer. So I don't know if you guys know that or not. I'm sure Eddie Reese will be calling me at any moment to get the 411 on DJ and his competitive swimming. But I know in my time at Texas, probably my time as a coach, he's probably the first signee that we've had that is a competitive swimmer. Gunnar Helm from tight end from Cherry Creek High School in Denver, Colorado, another early enrollee, back-to-back state champion. Gunnar's got, he played wide receiver as a sophomore, a little bit as a junior. And I believe his dad told me a story about John Elway actually suggesting to him that with that frame, he learned how to play out of a three-point stance and play tight end. And the rest is history when he fell in love with that position. So unique story there and great skill set to fit in our offense as well. Next guy, Jamir Johnson, defensive back from John Muir High School. Again, really excited about his length and athleticism. Plays extremely physical for a defensive back. That's one of the things that we were really drawn to was his physicality. Has impacted the game on both sides of the football. Unfortunately, his senior season was moved to the spring, and he'll miss this senior year because he is an early enrollee as well. And so we're excited to get to meet him. I'll probably go back and tell you there's probably 4 or 5 guys where the first time I'll meet them or will meet them in the flesh will be when they move in. And Jamir is one of those guys. Max Merrill, offensive lineman from Strake Jesuit, captain and a 3-year starter for Strake Jesuit. Extremely consistent in what he brings. We love his frame. We love his work ethic. We love his intangibles that he possesses in terms of his competitiveness and his leadership ability. And, we think the sky is the limit for him with, our strength and conditioning program, speed and development, and putting weight on and strength on him and watching him flourish, in the years to come. Byron Murphy from DeSoto High School has had an awesome senior year. I think he had 4.5 sacks just the other day in one game in the playoffs. He plays with his hands. He's got great motor, great short space quickness. Say that 10 times real fast. But really love his motor, love his power, love his intensity, and just the way that he gets off the ball. And obviously got a tremendous amount of respect for his high school program. Isaac Pearson from Pro Kick Australia. Obviously we've had tremendous success both here and at other places, going down to Pro Kick to find our punters. And we expect Isaac to be much of the same. This is a guy that I think was working as a mechanic, as a mechanic in a coal mine when he was approached by Pro Kick and trained with those guys for a year or two. And now we're excited to see him enroll in January. Jordan Thomas, defensive lineman from Port Arthur Memorial High School. What's up, Jordan? I told him I would give him a shout out on TV. That was important to him this morning. So he has had a great senior year, unfortunately missed his junior year, but we've been recruiting Jordan since he was a sophomore. And, he's a ball of personality. I hope everybody on this call has an opportunity to meet him and interact with him at some point, man, because he is fun to be around. And again, we feel like he can play a lot of different positions up front. He will start off at defensive end, but we feel like he could play all four positions, maybe not nose, but a multitude of positions up front, even, fill in maybe at the jack position as well. Jatavian Sanders, athlete, Denton Ryan High School. You're going to run out of superlatives talking about JT, and we are extremely excited about him and the versatility that he brings on both sides of the ball. He will play both sides of the ball here at Texas. In what capacity? We haven't quite ironed that out just yet. We've got time to figure that out, but we feel like he's too good of a talent not to. Routinely makes game-changing plays, and as you guys know, comes from a great program with Coach Hennigan over there at Denton Ryan. We're excited to see him in their playoff run this year. Baron Sorrell from Holy Cross in Louisiana, again, another our kind of guy, if you will, from an intangible standpoint. Great senior year. This is a guy that's got a tremendous motor, again, for a defensive lineman. Very, very sharp academic kid. I forget his GPA right now, but it's off the charts how intelligent this young man is. And we're excited to see, him and his growth potential throughout his college career. Charles Wright, obviously we think the world of Charles. Charles is a guy, three-time captain at Austin High, started as a freshman on the varsity team there at Austin High, and is a Texas legacy here at the university. I think both his parents went to school here, and so he's going to fit right in with our culture. And then lastly, Darian Dunn, a transfer corner from McNeese. Really, again, excited and intrigued by this young man and the career that he's already had in college, but also, he's had a great career leading up until this point, but we are definitely excited to have him for at least a year here at the University of Texas. And, he'll be joining our team here in January. So with that, again, really excited about today, not just because of the signing class, but, it was another opportunity to get back out on the field with our team and, get to work to finish the season right. And, also excited about the future of recruiting as well. This is just the beginning of the class of 2021. I would imagine there will be some more additions throughout January and February in that spring signing period as well. So, questions?
Hey guys, we'll open it up to questions. You go ahead and use that raised hand feature if you have a question. We're going to try to get through as many as we can, so please keep it to one question each when you ask a question, and we'll go ahead and start with Dennis.
Coach, you referred to the outside noise and clutter earlier this year and how it's hard to recruit with that, yet you locked down a quality class. How difficult was it this year considering that, and what was your message to these guys?
Well, it was difficult for a lot of reasons, and, some of those reasons not unique to Texas, but, to have 7 new coaches and only be on the road for whatever it was, a couple of weeks in January, prior, even some of them never even got on the road. They weren't even hired until after January. So the message was, to build relationships with these players as fast as you can. And then the message to the players was allow us to do as good a job as we can building these relationships with you. I know it's not ideal. I know we would rather see you in person, But I think our coaches did a tremendous job over Zoom and FaceTime and all of the different virtual ways that we had to recruit this year, given the circumstances that they were hired into. I think our coaches did a phenomenal job.
Jeff, go ahead.
Hey, Tom, I was wondering if you could go a little more into Charles Wright, about what you like about his skill set, and in that vein, the quarterback room with Jaquindon going in the portal is making sure you've got bodies in the quarterback room. Is that just a process that never ends to make sure you've always got what you need? You have, in other words, you're going to lose guys, but you have to recruit guys. It's just kind of a weird conundrum you're in at that position.
Yeah, it is. It is. But Charles isn't just a body. I mean, Charles, again, we expect Charles to be a starting quarterback here at Texas someday. We were really, really impressed with his quick release, his off-platform throws, to be quite honest with you, the guts that he has in actually making some of the throws that he makes. He's not afraid to throw it into tight windows. He's very confident in his ability. And no, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. You know, recruiting that position at quarterback is ever evolving. And, you know, it's to the point now where you better make sure that you have, you know, enough bodies in that room that you feel good enough that, you know, if your starter sprains an ankle or what have you, breaks a shoelace, that you're going to have a capable guy jog in the game and a capable guy pushing the starter or pushing the backup while they're here at Texas.
Mike, you're up.
Tom, you mentioned, you know, just how special you guys thought Jonathan Brooks was. He's going to play tomorrow night on television. You guys were the first to offer and really pursued him like a priority, you know, regardless of no other schools really jumping in like you usually see. What was it you love about his game that you saw to start the offer?
Well, again, I think just vision and quickness and lateral movement skills, and then the intangibles, you know, the ability to lead his team from 3-7 to state championship game is unheard of. It's not unheard of, that's hyperbole, but is very remarkable and unique, and something that drew us to him. And we are very, very appreciative and thankful that we have him.
Anwar, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, are you allowed to talk about the grad transfer that that's planning on coming here, or does that have to be finalized?
And Darian Dunn, is that who you're?
Yes.
Yeah, I did mention him.
Okay, so can you just give us maybe two things? Can you just give us maybe a little bit more like the background on how that kind of fell into? It seems like he's a guy that has some NFL potential, and then from an offensive line perspective, you know, what happened from recruiting there, and are you going to have to hit the grad transfer market, you know, a little hard on to get some bodies in that room?
Well, with Darian, it was kind of a match made in heaven. You know, we feel like, you know, we have, you know, some tweener bodies on our team that could play either corner, safety, or spur, and we feel like Darian is a guy that can play corner, could play a lot of different positions as well. We needed experience there at that position, but you know, you can never have enough bodies in the secondary, especially, you know, playing in a nickel package pretty much the entire game for most of the games. And as far as the grad transfer market for other positions, yeah, this was very calculated, signing only 19 guys in December, and you know, we'll scour the ends of the earth, you know, for positions of need in high school, you know, for guys that are unsigned, you know, come February, but also in the grad transfer and regular transfer market, especially when the one-time transfer exemption that's being voted on, if that passes, you know, the portal will be like something that it's never been before.
Bob, go ahead.
Yeah, Tom, just on that note, how different is recruiting now in the last couple of years with the transfer portal, the grad transfer market? And do you want to, in December, have 17 or 18 to leave you open for January and February?
I think every year is different. I think this year was unique for a lot of reasons, but one of them being that it was going to be the first year, and the novelty of of having that one-time transfer exemption. At least the assumption is that is coming very quickly. And so we kind of scoured the landscape, or if you will, about, what do we need to do moving forward? How do we address this? How are we going to stay ahead of the game? And we felt like it was best for our program to save, I think we've saved 8 or 9, that we would have room for right now in terms of initial counters. And, that could be all over the map, from high school guys that didn't sign in December that are still going to sign in February, to non-grad transfers, just regular one-time transfers, or graduate transfers. And so we know that, this is not the end of recruiting for 2021. This is kind of the midway point, if you will. And we've got a lot of work still left ahead of us.
Kirk, you're up.
Yeah, Tom, you probably lose your quarterback and your best defensive player, and I guess about 9 starters. So does it look like a rebuilding team next year? And will some of these players you're going to count on immediately, like Jatavian Sanders?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think that was very evident in Manhattan. We had 2 true freshmen playing on the offensive line, a true freshman tailback, a true sophomore tailback, a true freshman at safety. Our defensive player of the game was a true freshman 3 technique, and Alfred Collins. So I don't, the players that we lose are always going to be great players. Don't get me wrong. We're going to miss Taquan Graham. We're going to miss Joseph Osai. We're going to miss the heck out of Sam Ellinger. I mean, I don't want to minimize that one bit, but I think the future is very bright based on, what we have seen, the early returns of some of these young guys that have played a lot of football for us. And as far as the guys that come in, I think, again, at Texas, other than, maybe quarterback or offensive line, you always want to recruit with the idea that these guys are going to play as true freshmen. And, that's then becomes a challenge to them, and one that you say, hey, we recruited you. We think you're good enough to come in and compete for playing time as a freshman. Now it's up to you. Are you going to put in the work and dedication necessary to achieve that?
Joe, go ahead.
Coach, what is your plan now that you have signed Darian Dunn going forward at the cornerback position? Do you plan to sign any more in February? And then also, could you just go on about JD and how he's able to hit, even though he's not the biggest of guys?
Yeah, I think there's a saying, if you will, that you can never have enough defensive linemen and corners, because you can always move corners to safety and to spur to, they can always grow into other positions. So, but one thing you can't do is grow into corner, right? And so if you can sign as many corners as you can, that's great. And we will certainly be on the lookout for more corners throughout the course of January and February. And then JD, man, his physicality is off the charts, Joe. I mean, he loves to hit people. He loves to, in the throw game and the run game, and come downhill and be really, really physical. And it's one part of his game. It's my favorite part of his game. Obviously he's a tremendous athlete, and, he's extremely smart, football smart, and his work ethic is unbelievable. But, it is kind of cool when you see a DB of his build running around hitting people as hard as he does. That's really, really encouraging.
Cedric, you're up.
Yeah, Tom, when you look back on this whole process from the beginning of the season with the COVID all the way through early recruiting and everything in between, just how difficult has it been for Thomas J. Herman, especially given that you always say that you try to eliminate the outside noise and not pay attention to it? How difficult has it been for you as Tom Herman, the man?
Yeah, again, not that difficult. I love our team. I love my family, and they keep me going every day. But again, Cedric, I appreciate the question, but today is not about me. This is about this great signing class that we have. It's about our team and these young men that are getting ready to join this family.
Chip, you're up.
Tom, you mentioned corner. What other positions, right now do you think you'll be looking for specifically in the portal or grad transfer market?
I don't know. I think it's going to have to. We're going to have to, look at every position, to be honest with you, and see if that guy, it can help us. I think that's the difficulty of the portal, but it's also the beauty of it as well. And so, the one that comes to mind right now is the defensive end, jack and end, if you will, if you want to parse those two positions, and then offensive line. But again, it's got to be the right fit. And, you got to be able to say, one, that you need a guy with experience at that position, which again, we've got a winter off season and spring as well to see some of these guys that we haven't seen a whole lot of, and, kind of make a determination as we go.
Max, you're up.
Tom, I know the evaluation for you in terms of whether a player fits your program is so important. So how do you go about that with the 22 class, not knowing, when they can visit, when you can hit the road, all that?
That's good. I don't know if you tell me, or if you know, and let me know, and we'll go together on it and bottle it up and sell it. But no, I think again, we pride ourselves with relationships with the high school coaches. We pride ourselves with our thoroughness, and just it's constant. I guess constant communication is the best way I can put it. Just continuing to reach out to everybody in these young men's circle of influence, sphere of influence, if you will, and just continue again day after day to build these relationships and get to know them, and get to know the truth from the fluff. And that takes time.
The time for a few last questions. Start with Danny.
I'm wondering, did the NCAA's ruling that this year essentially doesn't count as far as eligibility change your approach on the recruiting trail, as far as, seniors maybe deciding they wanted to come back, and maybe you guys not having holes that you may have had in another year? And do you feel confident that what holes are on your roster? Have all the seniors decided what their next move what their next move is, and stuff like that?
It didn't really affect our process of recruiting, because you've got to make these decisions well in advance of when these seniors are going to be ready to make their decision. And to answer the second part of your question, I've had a few seniors tell me what their plans are, and I've had a few that have, they've all asked for counsel. We've had a meeting with them. I've told them every one of the seniors, of course, is welcome to return, and some, like Taquan, for instance, obviously, we know what his decision is, but there's others that are still thinking about it, and that's okay. We've got time, and but there's really no way that their decision could impact what you do in recruiting, because it was such an unknown by the time you have to make these decisions on who you're going to offer and what commitments you're going to take and all that stuff.
Jeff, did you have a question?
Yeah, Tom, I know you talked about the two offensive linemen you signed in this class, but kind of two-part question. How do you feel about, the guys like Tyler Johnson, the guys that are on campus right now that have been down the line guys? Do you feel like those guys are ready to contribute? And then with the crazy offseason and season structure, how much did that hurt that position group in terms of your developmental guys, maybe more than other positions?
The answer is yes. Feel really good about where Tyler is, and Jalen Garth just got cleared to practice, so he's practiced the last 2 days. As I mentioned, we had two true freshmen be a part of 69 points on the road in a Big 12 contest too. So I think the future is very bright at that position, but at the same time, I do recognize, what you talked about too, and not having a spring practice and having a very unique training camp, that may be the position that that suffered the most. And some of these developmental guys just getting those reps, because when you go play on the scout team and you're reading off a card, that's a lot different than running your own offense and double teaming a guy with the guy that you're going to be double teaming a guy with your whole career, or doing the, running the schemes that you're going to be running. So were they stunted a little bit? Yeah, probably, but I think everybody was. And, but, circling back, I do think that those guys are in a very good spot right now, and we are encouraged by what we've seen thus far, and excited about seeing them again this winter.
Got time for two last ones, Mike, and then Brian.
I'm going into the second half here between now and February, as far as just high school recruiting, not necessarily the portal. Do you have a feel for how many spots you may have left in this class, and where are the areas you would like to address the most?
Yeah. Again, we have 9 spots that I do know, Mike. How they get dissected between grad transfer, regular transfer, and high school recruit, I don't know right now. I think that's going to be totally dependent on each individual circumstance and weighing it case by case.